I love it, Jill. You know what? I have to say, this one-day only value that we have from Rastelli's is exceptional. We had this around the Christmas holiday season, and maybe you picked it up and maybe you saw what the price was at that particular time. And then you look at this price that we have today for this prime rib roast, which is 4 to 4.5 pounds in size. There is no reorder on this particular size of prime rib. So to get this 4 to 4.5 pounds for less than $70 with your shipping completely free, that is a huge, huge deal. And also, not only is your price going up at the end of the day, but your easy payments will be expiring at the end of the day as well. So before we go through our 3 flavors, I want to introduce you to Ray Rastelli. He's the gentleman who 40 years ago started the butcher shop. Yes. That has really developed from this tiny little one single room. It was like 35 by 15 feet or something.
That's right, you're right.
Was it 35 by 15?
That's exactly right.
And then expanded from there to not only supplying restaurants across the country, but restaurants across the world, including a 7-star hotel in Dubai. The fact that you can get this here is extraordinary. So 3 flavors: classic, Rastelli signature seasoning, and then garlic red wine.
Yes.
Prime rib. So when we look at this prime rib roast, people say, wait, that's the scary thing that I see at the grocery store that I don't know what to do with.
It is, and you know, I always say to get a great piece of meat and finish with a great meal, you've got to start with something special. So we always start with our black Angus rib. So I want to show you what a rib really looks like before we prep it for you, because a prime rib can get a little intimidating unless you really understand it and make it easy.
It's hiding in there.
It is. So
I wouldn't know what to do with all that stuff.
No, so what we've done, we've taken the fat completely off of that. We've cut it completely away from the bone, and we have netted just the center cut for you.
That's beautiful.
So you can see that's what we do at the butcher shop. And of course, that's the edible portion. You're going to be able to take this 4 to 4.5 pound prime rib and go from one end to the other, but we've taken all of the hard work out of it for you. So don't get intimidated for you. It's very, very easy to work with.
So once again, $69.96. This price is going up at the end of the day. Your easy pays are expiring at the end of the day. So we've got the 3 flavors. So we have classic, we have Rastelli signature, and garlic red wine. So which flavor do you want to start with?
So we'll start with the classic, because the classic is one that will come to you just like this. It's all ready to go, and you can put your favorite seasoning on there, although we do supply our seasoning packet. So if you'd like to use our signature seasoning on there, or if you've got a great recipe for your prime rib, then go ahead and use that.
You're giving us a ton here, by the way, so you will have no problems coating the entire thing.
Yes, absolutely. You can coat the entire thing.
Okay.
And again, we've done all the work for you. So what you really want to do is take this out of the refrigerator, out of your freezer, I should say, approximately a day prior. Let it thaw, and as I always say, get it to room temperature. Pull it out of your refrigerator and sit it on the counter for a good hour. Let it get the room temperature before you put it in that oven.
Oh, you know what? Just before you continue, we do have those 2 ship dates immediately in the week of April 3rd. And we're already getting limited in the week of April 3rd, just on time for Easter. If you want to serve this, and then that's going to be the week that's a bit more limited. So go on, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so this particular one here is actually our Rastelli signature one. So this is what we've always made in our family. This is my grandfather's recipe, and this was every Sunday morning, you know, I'd get to my grandmother's house, and grandmother was making pasta. My grandpa was always making prime rib. So this was his actual seasoning, and this seasoning, this basically comes already infused. So you don't have to do anything. This is our signature rub, and this really has garlic, onion, some thyme, some basil, some hints of mustard in it as well. And it's not overpowering, but I just want you to taste that, Sharon, because it's just, besides it being so incredibly tender, because each bite will be very, very tender, because remember, it's a prime rib. It's what you're used to going to that steakhouse and getting something that is so, so incredibly tender.
That flavor, yes, it's tender, but the flavor, that's the signature you just gave me?
That's the signature, yes. That's our signature
It's perfection.
seasoning. And that's the one that our family is most used to after all these years with my grandfather. But here we basically have
I'd like to hang out with your family more often. That's all
you know,
I'd like to say.
everything revolves around the kitchen table.
Doesn't
you know,
it
really does.
These are the things that bring everybody together, or
you know,
what we enjoy is when we eat together, when we break bread together, that brings the family so much closer.
It does. And you know, the memories we build around the kitchen table are the things that our kids, and for me now, my grandkids, I have 7 grandkids and 2 more on the way, so I'm just loving doing that on Sundays with them. They just adore doing that. And now I'm getting them into cooking with me, so it's even more fun.
Awesome.
It's even more
awesome.
fun.
And you know, know what? Even if it's not necessarily a lot of family members that are coming over, maybe it's members of your church on Easter, or maybe it's just friends that you have in the neighborhood. When you eat something like this with them, this really does bring them closer to you like they are your family.
It really does.
Okay, so what is this one that I'm
So
trying?
this is our roasted garlic and red Burgundy wine. So this is a little bit bolder. This is what you typically get when you get to a steakhouse, right? You get that.
I was going to say this. Yes, go on.
That's
Go
that
on.
steakhouse. It's a little bolder. It's a little more oomph to it, and you know, made with really great Burgundy wine. Because as David always says to me, you know, if you're going to make something, you're going to infuse it with wine. Use a great wine, and that's what we make sure that we do.
That's the
So
rule
critical.
of thumb.
Yes.
Please do not use cooking, quote unquote, cooking wines. When you see this at the store, if the wine is good enough to drink, it is good enough to use in your recipes. And that's what the Rastelli family has done.
Yes.
Here's where we are with this. On the immediate ship week, if you want the classic, which is the one you season yourself, although it does come with seasoning, 300 remain there. If you want this April 3rd, all flavors are last call. All three of those flavors that we just talked about, the classic that you season yourself, the Rastelli signature, which is their the grandfather's recipe seasoning already done for you, and also that garlic and red Burgundy wine, which is phenomenal. Yeah, that flavor, if you're looking for something deeper, richer, bigger, that's the flavor that you go for. But if you want the one that would be something like your family member made, that brings all of these sort of memories of, you know, hanging out with family members for the holidays, that would be the Rastelli signature.
Yes.
But some people have their own rubs they want to do, then go for the classic.
They do, and you know, the one thing about the prime rib, it's going to be a very tender piece of meat. We like to, besides you getting it out of that refrigerator and getting it to room temperature, use a thermometer. You're
I
going to
agree.
see a thermometer will work best for you each time. If you get your oven preheated to 375 degrees, take this from here right onto a baking sheet into your oven, and when your internal temperature right inside that ribs gets to about 130 degrees, pull the rib out, let it rest then for about 10 to 20 minutes, and what you'll get is about a medium to medium rare at about 140. Because remember, it's going to continue to cook about another 8 to 10 degrees after you pull that. So you will never go wrong using a thermometer. It makes it perfect each and every time. And if you like it a little more well done, go ahead and run it up to 140 or 145. It'll finish at 150 or 155.
That's right. And let it rest 20 minutes, not 10.
Yes.
Let it rest a little longer for all those extra juices to come back in. A question just came in. We have our today's special value convection oven. Can we do that in there, or do you just preferred traditional oven?
No, you absolutely can do it in a convection oven. It's going to be a little bit quicker, right, because of that circulating air. So you just want to make sure you test it a little more often with that thermometer.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I have a very inexpensive, but I love my thermometer because I know it's accurate. That's all you really need to make sure that you're getting the best experience. And then the pieces that are a little more well done, that are on the edges, are for certain people. And then the ones who like it, that perfect medium rare, go for those slices in the middle. But I'll tell you, around the Christmas holiday, the price that we had on this exact prime rib roast was around $30 more than we're seeing it right now. So if you'd like to get this value before it expires at the end of the day, it is classic. Season it yourself, although it comes with it, the Rastelli signature seasoning, and then the garlic red or Burgundy wine. And 54285, good sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Jill brought these to us at the beginning of the show, the perfect bite. They are sold out. We're gonna have some happy people here today.
All right, Sharon, you have to come over and try this next item.
I shall.
So we have something called a cocoa and cream cookie from Callie's Charleston Biscuits. And Callie's Biscuits is a true biscuit bakery in Charleston, South Carolina. And Carrie Morey is the owner and founder. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And you started making these cocoa and cream cookies because your clients, your customers, loved your savory biscuits, but they wanted a little sweet.
You've got
Yeah.
it. So this is my mom's recipe, Callie, and we have a bake shop in Charleston called Hot Little Biscuit, and people come in lines, crazy lines all over Charleston to have our hot biscuits, but most of them are savory, so they always were looking for a little sweet. And so I pulled this recipe out of Mom's archive, and we started selling them individually as a sweet treat after people had their biscuits, and people were going crazy over them. So we decided last year that we would start packaging them and selling them.
And they are another one of our Sophie Award finalists and nominees. You're used to this kind of a cookie, right? You guys all know this cookie. If you can look at my hand real quick, right? You all know what that cookie is. Kind of crunchy on the outside, cream in the middle, right? But
little
then
dry.
here is one of these. Look at the difference in size.
Yes.
Okay? So this is what you're getting, and yours are a little more tender.
Yes.
Like the cookie part is a little more tender, and the cream filling is like really soft and good. They're delicious.
Thank you. They're very buttery. They're made with an extra dark cocoa. They're all handmade in my
yeah.
bakery.
Wow.
It took us over a month to make this order for y'all because it takes 2 days to make a batch of these.